Retail, e-commerce merchants lose $4 for every $1 in fraud, report. Merchants lose billions to fraud every year, but theft estimates are often underestimated. That's because, as a report released Wednesday pointed out, the actual cost of fraud can be much higher. According to the 2025 LexisNexis True Cost of Fraud study, U.S. merchants incur an average cost of $4.61 for every $1 of fraud, while in Canada, costs are $4.52 per $1. Based on a survey of 569 risk and fraud executives in retail and e-commerce companies in the US, 487, and Canada, 82, the study shows that fraud's impact goes beyond direct financial losses and encompasses operational, reputational, and compliance costs. The study noted that indirect losses have steadily increased since 2016, when costs were $2.40 per $1, underscoring the growing complexity and expense of combating fraud. Fraud has gone up by 32% from 2022 to now, LexisNexis Risk Solutions Senior Director for Fraud and Identity Manas Godegunner told the E-commerce Times. We expected an incremental rise, but a 32% rise is definitely cause for caution. According to the study, fraud costs vary by channel. In both US and Canadian e-commerce, online transactions account for the largest share of fraud costs, with more than half the burden in these markets. Mobile transactions also contribute significantly to fraud costs, with US e-commerce seeing a combined 30% share and Canadian e-commerce reporting 37%. The study also found that mobile payments continue to be a rising fraud target for digital bandits. In US retail, QR code fraud contributed to 19% of indirect fraud costs, digital wallets contributed 12%, and peer-to-peer transactions 11%. On the e-commerce side, QR codes contributed 20%, digital wallets 15%, and peer-to-peer transactions 6%. In Canadian retail, QR codes contributed 26% to fraud costs, digital wallets 12%, and peer-to-peer transactions 5%, while in e-commerce, QR codes contributed 25%, digital wallets 16%, and peer-to-peer transactions 7%. Balancing friction in fraud prevention. One trend in this year's study that surprised Godegunner was how heavily organizations lean on manual operations for fraud monitoring and mitigation strategies. The manual approach seems to be something they are adopting at a very high scale, he said. What was also surprising was how confident the organizations were in the effectiveness of those manual systems, he added. If you are going with a manual approach against the generative AI capabilities of fraudsters, I feel it's very optimistic of merchants to feel like they have very good fraud operations and fraud strategies in place, he said. The survey also noted that managing customer friction plays a key role in preventing fraud. Businesses must ensure security while maintaining speed and ease of use to maintain a positive user experience, it advised. Overly strict fraud prevention can frustrate customers and cause them to abandon transactions or close accounts.